Joining me now live on the South Shores Morning News, we have State Senator Dylan Fernandes. Thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Always a pleasure.
Oh, delighted to have you here, and I got a couple good topics I want to talk with you about, because you've been busy. And the first thing, of course, was a story that we were covering very closely, and that was where they had said that they were going to close the Canton Pappas Hospital, the Canton Rehabilitation Center, and the Pocasset, the Mental Health Hospital, and there was just an outcry and outrage over this happening. And you, along with the other local state reps and state senators, got involved, and you were able to change that. So kudos to you for doing that.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. And we rallied on this. Our office put out a petition that got nearly 3,000 signatures around it. We had community events in Pocasset where we filled the Pocasset community room, standing room only. And then we had conversations with the governor's office, multiple conversations over a number of weeks. And to the governor's credit, we called this out. We educated her office on this and her on this, and she listened and she stepped in to back us up and saving Pocasset. So this is a really this is a big win for mental health in our district. This is the only state-run mental health facility, 16 inpatient beds in the district, the Plymouth and Barnstable district that I represent. And we need to talk about expanding mental health in our region, not cutting back services. And this is a good win to keep those beds here in our community.
I have to say, we did hear from a lot of local people that were very upset about what was happening. So I know she said the governor put a pause in it. Do you think that means that this is definitely going to happen, where it's not going to get shut down?
Yeah, that's my understanding. And look, we have this means that we get there's no cut to the budget as the Department of Mental Health, I believe, really wrongly proposed to do. And at the end of the day, this facility, Pocasset, in our Plymouth and Barnstable district, it only costs the state $4.5 million. So in the grand scheme of the budget, is actually pretty low dollars for the impact that it has, serving hundreds of people, the most acute mental health needs. And we heard from patients and caseworkers about how impactful this is, and from the patients about how this facility has saved their lives. So it's had incredible impact in our region, and we have big mental health issues here. Above average suicide rates, almost 50% greater than the state average in some places. And so we need mental health services. They're critical to our community, and I'm so pleased that we were able to save this facility in our district.
Now, you're off to a busy start. You filed 48 bills already. I know at the beginning of the session you've got to get them all within a 2-week period, which kind of blows my mind. I don't know how people get this done, but 48 bills aimed at, I guess, lowering costs, supporting economic development, and protecting the environment. One bill that I looked at that I know a lot of local people are interested in is what's going on with Holtec and them attempting to still put the radioactive wastewater dump there into Cape Cod Bay.
Yeah, so good news on this. We've prevented them from dumping the water into Cape Cod Bay. I'm actually one of around 24 petitioners with the Association to Preserve Cape Cod that is working to block their appeal to DEP around dumping. So that's been that issue has been resolved for now, the dumping into the bay. The next part, and this is what our legislation gets at, is the evaporation. And so because they're not allowed to dump anymore, the treated nuclear wastewater, now they're evaporating it at an accelerated rate. And we don't know what the impacts are to our community of that evaporation. There could be no impacts, right? Or it could cause public health and public safety and environmental harm. But the fact that we don't know is a real concern. And so what our legislation does is just says that this increased acceleration of evaporation of the nuclear wastewater has to stop until there's a study and assessment of what the impacts are on the health and safety of our local community.
I wanted to ask you, too, about you also filed a bill that would help first-time local home buyers. How does that work?
Yeah, so first-time home buyers, it's a struggle out there. I've been there. It's nearly impossible for a lot of people trying to buy their first home. One of the biggest burdens, and I had to go through this, was saving out the down payment, because the cost of homes are so high that you have to save up a lot of money over a long period of time to put that 20% down, avoid mortgage insurance, which is just a payout to large financial institutions for no real gain. No one wants to do that. And so this is a savings account that would be tax exempt for first-time home buyers to be able to save up a little more quickly to put down that down payment and avoid that payout to a large financial institution, and hopefully one piece in opening up home ownership for new buyers.
You also got some other great legislation, and I know you're also got on your committee appointments, and I hope I can have you on again soon and we can go into detail about that. But I just want to know that you're going to serve as chair of the Joint Committee on Agriculture and Fisheries. So I know that you're excited about that.
I'm thrilled about this. I think this is a big win for our district. In southeastern Massachusetts as a whole, there's only a handful of people who are actually chairing committees in the legislature. And so this is important to have a leadership role for southeastern Massachusetts, for Plymouth County in particular. And particularly in an industry that's so vital to our local communities. Agriculture is actually a huge industry down here, and then the fishing industry, especially out of Plymouth and the Cape, that's a big industry here, and there's big bright spots there around aquaculture and the like that we really want to highlight and promote. And the state, we're going to be focused on how do we help these industries grow, because they are the backbone or the foundation of, if you will, of our life down here, our ability to get sustenance, our ability to eat, our ability to have a sustainable society here in this region. So there's a lot to unpack there, a lot to do, and we're looking forward to get to work.
That's terrific, and we're going to have you on again soon and talk a little bit more about that. But State Senator Dylan Fernandes of the Plymouth Barnstable District, best way for your constituents to get a hold of you?
Just email me, Dylan.Fernandes with an S, at masenate.gov, or give me a call. My cell is 508-257-1174.
We appreciate you joining us today. We'll have you back soon. Sending you back now to traffic and weather right here, 95.9 WATD.